I came home early and heard voices. Before opening the door, I called my lawyer. Walked in, saw him, said nothing. Just took photos, left, and filed for separation. When she called hours later, my lawyer answered. Her shock that I'd moved that fast was priceless. Original post: I, 36 male, need to get this down while the adrenaline is still effectively keeping me awake. It's 3 a.m., I'm in a hotel room that smells like lemon disinfectant and stale cigarettes, and my entire life just did a complete 180 in the span of 6 hours. Let's set the scene. I've been married to my wife, 34 female, for 7 years. We bought a fixer-upper about 8 months ago. Classic millennial dream, right? Buy the worst house on the best block, pour your savings into it, build equity. We hired a general contractor, let's call him the contractor, to handle the kitchen and master bath extension. He's been in our house every day for the last 3 months. Nice guy. Or so I thought. Drank my coffee, petted my dog, laughed at my jokes. Yesterday was a Tuesday. My afternoon client canceled. A big manufacturing deal that fell through, so I found myself with a free afternoon. I didn't text my wife. I figured I'd surprise her, maybe take her out for an early dinner since she works from home on Tuesdays. I pulled into the driveway at 2:15 p.m. The contractor's truck was there, not unusual. He's usually wrapping up around 4, but timelines slip. I unlocked the front door quietly. Not because I was suspicious, but because I didn't want to startle anyone if they were using power tools. But there were no power tools. The house was dead silent. Then I heard it. It came from the living room, not the construction zone in the back. It was a laugh. Her laugh. The one she uses when she's 3 glasses of wine deep and flirting. Then a male voice, low and murmuring. "You think he suspects?" the male voice asked. It was the contractor. "No way," my wife replied. She sounded smug. That's the only word for it. He's so focused on the budget, he doesn't notice anything else. Besides, he thinks you're doing the plumbing rough-in right now. "I am doing the plumbing," the contractor chuckled. "Just a different kind." Gross, I know. My hand was on the living room door handle. In any movie, this is where the guy kicks the door down, screams, throws a punch, but I froze. A cold wash of clarity hit me. If I walk in there now and scream, it becomes a he said, she said domestic dispute. If I lose my cool, I lose the upper hand. I stepped back onto the porch and closed the front door silently. I sat in my car and looked at my phone. My hands weren't even shaking. It was weird. I felt like I was watching a simulation of my own life. I scrolled to lawyer in my contacts. He's a buddy from college, specializes in family law, absolute shark of a human being when he needs to be. "Hey man," he answered. "What's up? Golf this weekend?" "No," I said. "I'm outside my house. My wife is inside with our contractor. I can hear them discussing their affair. What do I do?" Silence on the line for 2 seconds, then shift in tone. Purely professional. "Do not engage. Do not get violent. Do you have a tea?" "Yes." "Go in, quietly. If they are in a compromising position, take a photo. Video is better. Do not say a word. Do not argue. Get the evidence, turn around and leave. Drive straight to my office. Can you do that?" "Yeah." "I'm drafting the separation agreement now. Go." I hung up, took a deep breath, walked back to the door. I opened it, tiptoed through the hallway. The living room layout is open concept, or it will be once the reno is done. Right now, there are plastic sheets hanging everywhere to block dust. I peered through a gap in the plastic. They weren't having sex. That almost would have been better. They were sitting on our new, expensive beige sectional, the one I didn't want because it stains easily, eating takeout sushi. His feet were up on the coffee table. Her head was on his shoulder. He was feeding her a piece of tuna roll. It was intimate, domestic, like they were the couple and I was the intruder. I raised my phone, hit record. I stepped through the plastic sheeting. The sound of the plastic crinkling made them jump. The contractor scrambled to sit up, knocking the soy sauce over onto the rug. My wife turned pale, her mouth still open. "Honey," she squeaked. "You're home early." I didn't say a word. I just panned the camera from his face to hers, to the spilled food, to his boots on the table. I held the camera on her face for a solid 5 seconds. "What are you doing?" the contractor asked, standing up. He looked aggressive. "You can't just..." I snapped a still photo of him standing there, shirt half unbuttoned. Then I turned around. "Wait, stop," my wife yelled, scrambling off the couch. "It's not what it looks like. We were just taking a break." I kept walking. Out the front door, down the steps. "Baby, please," she screamed from the porch. I got in my car, locked the doors, and backed out of the driveway. I saw the contractor standing in the doorway, looking confused, like a deer in headlights. I drove straight to my lawyer's office. We spent 3 hours going over everything. Assets, the house, the renovation contracts. He filed the petition for legal separation electronically before I even left his office. He also sent a cease and desist to the contractor regarding the renovation work, citing conflict of interest and breach of contract. Then came the call. My phone had been buzzing non-stop. 23 missed calls from her, 5 from him. At 6:30 p.m., she called again. My lawyer held out his hand. "Give it to me." I handed him my phone. He put it on speaker. "Hello?" My wife's voice, frantic. "This is lawyer's last name, representing your husband," he said, calm, detached. "What? Why are you answering his phone? Let me talk to him." "He is currently indisposed. I am informing you that a petition for separation has been filed. You will be served shortly. My client will not be returning to the marital residence tonight. Direct all further communication to my office." "Separation? Are you kidding me?" She let out a hysterical laugh. "I didn't do anything. He's blowing this out of proportion. It was just lunch." "Ma'am," my lawyer said, voice dropping an octave. "We have the video, we have the timeline, and frankly, based on the audio my client overheard regarding the plumbing, I'd suggest you save the denial for a less intelligent audience." Silence. Total silence. Then a small, quiet, "He moved that fast?" "He did," my lawyer said. "Have a good evening." He hung up. So here I am. The hotel Wi-Fi is trash. I have no clothes because I didn't pack a bag. I have a half-finished house I can't live in, a marriage that's dead in the water, and a bill for a contractor who is sleeping with my wife. But you know what? I didn't scream. I didn't cry. And knowing she's sitting in that house right now, realizing she can't spin this, she can't gaslight me, and she can't talk her way out of it, that's the only thing keeping me sane. Tomorrow, I have to go back with a police escort to get my clothes and my work laptop. Wish me luck. Update 1. 5 days later. It's been 5 days. If I thought the Band-Aid rip was painful, the infection setting in is worse. Wednesday morning, I met the police officers at the house. I needed my suits, my laptop, and my birth certificate passport. The officers were polite but distant. Civil standby, they called it. When we pulled up, the contractor's truck was there. Again. The audacity was breathtaking. I unlocked the door. The officers went in first. My wife was in the kitchen, or the shell of the kitchen. She was wearing my robe. The contractor was leaning against the counter, drinking coffee from my mug. "You can't be here," the contractor said to me, pointing a finger. "She doesn't feel safe with you." One of the cops stepped forward. "Sir, this is his residence. He has a right to retrieve his property. Step back." My wife looked like she hadn't slept, but the moment she saw the cops, she turned on the waterworks. "He's so controlling," she sobbed to the female officer. "He just disappeared. He abandoned me here with no money, and now he brings police? I'm scared of what he might do." I ignored her. I walked past them to the bedroom. I grabbed my suitcase, packed my clothes, grabbed the safe box from the closet. When I came back out, the contractor was talking to the male officer. "Technically, I'm a tenant," he was saying. "I've been staying here to finish the job fast. He can't kick me out." I stopped dead. "A tenant?" I asked. "Show me the lease." "Verbal agreement," he smirked. "With the lady of the house." The cop looked at me. "Sir, if he's established residency, you'd have to formally evict him. It's a civil matter." I looked at my wife. She avoided my eyes. She had moved her boyfriend in less than 24 hours after I left. Or maybe he never really left. "Fine," I said. "Enjoy the house. It's got a leaky roof and the furnace is acting up. Good luck." I left. But the real kicker came yesterday. I checked our joint bank account, the one we use for the mortgage and bills. Empty. $12,000. Gone. Transferred to her personal account. Then I got an email from the contractor's company, which I'm pretty sure is just him in a dusty van. Invoice number 4042, services rendered, emergency plumbing, structural reinforcement, expedited labor. Total due $8,500. I called my lawyer immediately. "Can they do this?" I asked, pacing around my tiny rental apartment. I moved out of the hotel. "The money transfer? It's a gray area before the official filing date, but it looks bad for her," he said. "The invoice? That's fraud if the work wasn't done. or it's an attempt to funnel marital assets to her lover. What do I do? We freeze everything, he said, and we stop paying the mortgage. Stop paying? My credit score is going to take a hit, he interrupted. But listen to me. She is living there with him. He is claiming residency. If you pay that mortgage, you are subsidizing their life. We file an emergency motion for the sale of the marital home. We claim the asset is being devalued and misappropriated. We force a sale. She loves that house, I said. It was her dream. She should have thought about that before she moved the contractor into the master bedroom, he replied. So I did it. I cut the direct deposit. I canceled the utilities that were in my name, electric and water. I sent her a text, the first one in 5 days. Utilities are in your name as of tomorrow. Mortgage is your responsibility since you have exclusive use of the property. Lawyer says hi. Her response came 3 minutes later. Wife, you are a monster. The fridge is off. All the food is spoiling. How am I supposed to live? Me asked the tenant. Maybe he can fix it. Then the phone calls started. Her mother, her father, her sister. My mother-in-law left a voicemail that was 3 minutes of screaming. You promised to take care of her. You took a vow, so she made a mistake? You don't leave a woman destitute. Be a man. A mistake. Sleeping with the guy we're paying $40K to renovate our kitchen is a mistake. Moving him in is a mistake. Draining our account is a mistake. I'm not responding to them. My lawyer sent them a formal letter stating that any further harassment would result in a restraining order. But here's the part that really grinds my gears. My friends, our mutual friends, are split. Apparently, she's spinning a narrative that I was emotionally absent and financially abusive because I watched the renovation budget too closely. One friend texted me, "Dude, I get you're mad, but cutting off the power? That's abusive." I didn't cut the power. I just took my name off the bill. She has the $12,000 she stole. She can pay the deposit, but nobody wants to hear facts. They just hear, poor wife in the dark. I'm meeting with a forensic accountant on Monday. My lawyer thinks the contractor has been overcharging us for materials for months and kicking the difference back to, well, dates, I assume. If we can prove fraud, we don't just divorce her. We sue him. I'm tired. I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor of a studio apartment. But I checked my security camera app this morning. I forgot to disconnect the external cameras. The contractor's truck has a flat tire in the driveway, and there's a code enforcement notice taped to the front door. Apparently, someone reported unpermitted work being done on the property. I wonder who that could have been. Update 2, 3 weeks later. Things have escalated, and by escalated, I mean they have gone completely off the rails. The forensic accountant, let's call him the numbers guy, is a wizard. He went through the last 6 months of renovation invoices and compared them to our bank statements and the actual work done. Turns out we paid for high-end Italian marble that is actually generic ceramic tile from a big box store. We paid for custom cabinetry that is standard stock. The difference? About $15,000. Where did that money go? Well, the numbers guy found a pattern. Every time a large draw was paid to the contractor, my wife's credit card bill, which she usually pays from her personal account, would get a large payment. Basically, I was paying the contractor and he was funneling a portion of it back to her or spending it on her, effectively laundering my money to fund their affair. My lawyer was practically salivating when he saw the spreadsheet. This isn't just divorce anymore, he said. This is civil conspiracy to commit fraud. We filed the motion. We also served the contractor with a lawsuit for breach of contract, fraud, and unpermitted work. That's when the entitlement hit the fan. My wife, or I should say, soon-to-be ex, requested an emergency hearing for temporary spousal support. Her argument? She is accustomed to a certain standard of living, and my departure has caused her undue hardship. She showed up to court wearing old clothes, no makeup, looking like a Victorian orphan. The contractor was not there. Her lawyer, who I suspect she paid with the stolen $12K, argued that I was vindictive, that I abandoned the marital home, and that I should be paying the mortgage plus $2,000 a month in alimony while the divorce is pending. My lawyer stood up. He didn't yell. He just handed the judge the forensic report and the photos I took that day. "Your Honor," he said, The hardship is self-inflicted. The petitioner is currently cohabitating with the co-defendant in the fraud case. We have evidence that marital funds were embezzled to facilitate their relationship. The judge, a stern woman who looked like she had zero patience for nonsense, skimmed the report. She looked at the photo of the contractor eating sushi with his boots on my table. She looked at my wife. "Ma'am," the judge asked, "is Mr. Contractor's name living in the home?" He stays over sometimes for security," my wife stammered, "because my husband cut the locks." "I didn't cut the locks, I just didn't give her the new key to the back gate." "And is he paying rent?" the judge asked. "No." "So you want your husband to pay the mortgage on a house where you are living with your paramour, who is also the subject of a fraud investigation regarding said house?" My wife looked at her lawyer. Her lawyer looked at the floor. "Motion for temporary support denied," the judge said, banging the gavel. "Motion to sell the marital residence granted. The property will be listed immediately. Proceeds held in escrow until the fraud investigation is complete." I almost cheered. But wait, it gets better. Since the court ordered the house sold, real estate agents had to come in to take photos. My wife refused to let them in. She claimed she had COVID. Then she claimed the house was not ready. My lawyer had to get a court order forcing her to allow access. The agent called me after the walkthrough. "Sir," she said, sounding horrified, "the house it's a wreck." "I know, it's under construction," I said. "No, I mean there are holes in the drywall that aren't for construction. There is trash everywhere. It smells like smoke. And the kitchen cabinets, the ones that were installed, they've been ripped out." "Ripped out?" "Gone. Just hanging wires." I drove over. I didn't care about the restraining order warnings. I sat in the street. The contractor's truck was loaded high with boxes. My cabinets, my fixtures. He was stripping the house. He knew the jig was up. He knew he was getting sued. So he was stealing the materials he technically bought, with my money, to sell them elsewhere. I called the police. This time, they didn't tell me to leave. I showed them the court order regarding the house sale and the lawsuit against the contractor. "That's theft," the officer said. They stopped him in the driveway. My wife came running out screaming like a banshee. "Those are his. He bought them. You can't take them." "Ma'am," the cop said, "these are fixtures of the house. Removing them is theft." They made him unload everything, on the lawn, in the rain. My wife was crying, screaming that I was ruining his livelihood. "He needs those for another job. He's broke because you stopped the payments," she yelled at me from the porch. "Not my problem," I said, rolling down my window. "Maybe he can pay you back the $15 he overcharged us." She looked at me with pure hatred. "I hate you. You're petty. You're a sad little man. And you," I said, "are dating a thief who lives in a van. Upgrade?" The best part? The contractor didn't even defend her. He was too busy trying to talk the cop out of impounding his truck for expired registration, which I may have mentioned to the dispatcher. He looked at her and said, "Shut up, wife's name. You're making it worse." The look on her face. The realization that without my money and without the fun secrecy of the affair, he was just a rude, broke guy stealing cabinets in the rain. The house is listed as is. We're gonna lose money, a lot of it. But watching the reality truck hit them at 60 miles per hour, worth every penny. Update 3. Final update. 6 months later. The dust has settled, mostly. The divorce was finalized last week. It wasn't the slam dunk, I get everything victory you see in movies. Real life doesn't work that way. The legal system is designed to be equitable, not just. But I'll take what I got. Here is the scorecard. The house, sold. We took a $40,000 loss after paying off the mortgage and the selling fees, mostly because the kitchen was a gutted war zone. Normally, that debt would be split 50-50. However, thanks to the numbers guy and the fraud evidence, the judge ruled that the dissipation of assets, the stolen materials, the overpayments, was her fault. So the remaining equity from the sale, what little there was, went 100% to me. She walked away with $0 from the house. Actually worse, she walked away with a debt to me for half the loss, which was deducted from her share of our retirement accounts. The contractor. He didn't show up to court for the civil suit. Default judgment in my favor for $28,000. Good luck collecting it, right? Well, turns out he had a bond, a surety bond required for his license, which was barely valid. My lawyer went after the bond company. They paid out. It took months of paperwork, but I got about $12,000 back. The contractor also has a permanent mark on his license record now. Last I heard, he moved 2 states over. And yes, he dumped my ex-wife about 2 weeks after the cabinet incident. Apparently, once the free housing and the cash flow stopped, their soulmate connection dried up pretty fast. The ex-wife, she is living with her parents. The same parents who called me a monster. I heard from a mutual friend that the living arrangement is tense. Her dad is furious about the financial mess she made. Her mom is still trying to spin it that I was the bad guy, but it's hard to sell that story when your daughter was caught helping her boyfriend strip copper wire out of her own house, metaphorically speaking. She tried to reach out last month, a long email, no subject line. I know I messed up, I was confused, he manipulated me. I miss our life, I miss the dog, can we just get coffee? I didn't reply. I forwarded it to my lawyer, who sent a standard "do not contact my client" response. I don't feel hate anymore. I just feel indifferent. She's a stranger who happens to know my social security number. Me, I'm in a decent apartment now. It's small, the furniture is IKEA. My credit score took a hit, dipping into the high 600s for a bit, but it's climbing back up. I lost the dream home. I lost a chunk of my savings. I lost the last 7 years of emotional investment. But last Saturday, I woke up at 9 a.m. There was no construction noise, no sawdust, no passive-aggressive comments about the budget. I made coffee. I sat on my cheap balcony. I realized I haven't had a panic attack in 4 months. My friends, the real ones who stuck by me, took me out for a freedom dinner. We didn't go to a club. We went to a dive bar with sticky floors and played pool. One of them asked, "Do you regret moving that fast? Calling the lawyer before you even opened the door?" I thought about it. I thought about the alternative. Screaming. Fighting. Trying to work it out while they drained my accounts dry behind my back. No, I said. It was the best call I ever made. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do is shut your mouth, take the photo, and let the law do the heavy lifting. She wanted a drama. She wanted a fight she could win with tears and gaslighting. I gave her a contract dispute, and she couldn't cry her way out of a spreadsheet. I'm not hiking the Himalayas. I'm not dating a supermodel. I'm just a guy eating a pepperoni pizza on a Tuesday, watching Netflix without headphones, and it feels fantastic. Thanks for reading Reddit. Check your contractors, and trust your gut. I caught my fiancée at 2 a.m. texting her ex, "Miss you so much, wish we could be together." She was next to me in bed. I took a photo of her screen, then I went back to sleep. When she woke up and I'd already sent the photo to her parents, her sister, and the wedding venue. I, 31 male, got up to pee around 2 a.m. last month. Came back to bed and my fiancée, 28, was still awake, phone glowing in the dark. Not unusual, she's always been a night owl, except something was off. The way she was smiling at her screen. This soft, intimate smile I hadn't seen in months. The same look she used to give me when we first started dating. I got back in bed, turned toward her. Her phone screen was visible from my angle. She was too absorbed to notice me watching. The contact at the top just said, a purple heart emoji. Not my name. I watched her type, "Miss you so much. Wish we could be together." Can't stop thinking about that weekend. You make me feel things I'd forgotten existed. His response came through. "I know, baby. Soon. Just be patient. Once everything settles down, we can make this work." She typed back, "Being here is torture when my heart is with you. This wedding feels like the world's longest prison sentence, Ulmeo." I lay there frozen. 3 years together, engaged 8 months. Wedding was 6 weeks away, invitations mailed, deposits paid. My parents had just thrown us an engagement party, and she was texting another guy that marrying me felt like a prison sentence. With Ulmeo at the end. My brain went weirdly quiet. No anger, no hurt, just this cold clarity. Like someone flipped a switch. I grabbed my phone off the nightstand, opened the camera, held it steady and took a photo of her screen showing the messages. Then another as she scrolled up revealing more. Then a third. She never looked up. Too busy in her little conversation. I set my phone down, turned away from her, stared at the wall. About 10 minutes later, she finally put her phone away, kissed my shoulder. "Love you," she whispered. I didn't say anything. Pretended to sleep. She texted a bit more. I could hear the buzzing, then finally dozed off around 3 a.m. I didn't sleep, just lay there thinking. Around 5 a.m., when I was sure she was deep asleep, I grabbed my phone and went into the bathroom. Closed the door, sat on the edge of the tub, opened my email and started composing. First one went to her parents. Subject, wedding canceled. Body found the attached on her phone last night. We're done. Sorry you had to find out this way. Attached the clearest photo. Sent. Second email to her sister who'd been helping coordinate everything. Same photo, same message. Third to the wedding venue. Need to cancel the ceremony scheduled for date. Please process per the contract terms. Documentation of cause attached. Then the photographer, the caterer, the florist, the DJ, the cake person. Every single vendor we'd booked, my best man, my parents, everyone who needed to know. I forwarded everything to my personal email as backup, uploaded the photos to cloud storage, screenshot the sent emails. By 6 a.m. I was done, climbed back in bed, actually managed to sleep a couple hours. Woke up around 8:30 to both our phones exploding simultaneously. Calls, texts, notifications going crazy. She grabbed her phone, groggy and confused, saw her mom calling, then her sister, then her dad, then her mom again. What the hell? She answered. Mom, what's wrong? I got up and started getting dressed, heard her on the phone. What photo? I don't know what you're talking about. Long pause. Mom, no, it's not, let me explain. It's not what it looks like, Mom. She came running into the bathroom where I was brushing my teeth. Her face was sheet white. What did you do? What did you send them? I spit out toothpaste. Screenshots of your conversation with purple heart emoji guy, the one you miss so much, the one who makes you feel alive. You went through my phone? Didn't need to. You were having your little chat right next to me. I just documented what I saw. It wasn't. That's not fair. You can't just. You called our wedding a prison sentence. LMAO. She froze. Yeah, I saw that part too. I was venting, that's all. It didn't mean anything. You told him your heart is with him. I was being dramatic. At 2 a.m., in our bed, planning your future with him after things settle down. Please just let me explain everything. It's not what you think. My phone rang. My mom. I answered. Sweetheart, what's happening? Her mother just called me hysterical. Wedding's off. She's been texting her ex. I found out last night. Oh honey, are you okay? Will be. I'll call you later. Hung up. My fiancé was full-on crying now. Please, we need to talk about this. You can't just blow up our entire relationship over some texts. Forward me the whole conversation. Right now. Everything between you two. What? Your phone. Show me every message. If it's so innocent, prove it. She clutched her phone. That's private. You texted him in my bed. You lost privacy rights. Show me or I'm leaving right now. She didn't move. That's what I thought. I grabbed my laptop bag and tease. Where are you going? Anywhere but here. We have to talk. You should have talked before you started planning your future with another guy. We're done. You can't just leave. I walked past her toward the door. You're going to regret this. You're throwing away everything over nothing. I turned back. Nothing, right? Tell me, what weekend were you two reminiscing about? The one you can't stop thinking about. Her face went pale again. Yeah, thought so. Bye. I left. Stayed at my buddy's place. Ignored probably 60+ calls from her over the next few days. Her texts went from begging to angry to begging again. She showed up at my office twice. Security walked her out both times. Then her mother called. You humiliated my daughter? Sending that photo to the entire family? To vendors? That was cruel and unnecessary. Your daughter was planning a future with her ex while planning a wedding with me. What was I supposed to do? Talk to her privately, like an adult, not air everything publicly. She lost the right to privacy when she texted another man that marrying me felt like prison. Every bride gets cold feet. It's normal. You're overreacting. Cold feet don't involve telling your ex you wish you could be together. It was just texts. Nothing even happened. How do you know? Silence. That's what I thought. We're done. Don't call me again. I hung up. Her sister called next day. She was calmer. Look, I'm not defending what she did. It's messed up, but she's falling apart. She says nothing physical happened. Did she show you the full conversation? No, she said I'd misunderstand the context. Of course she did. Want me to forward the screenshots? Yeah, actually, I sent them all. Every photo I'd taken. She called back 20 minutes later. Holy shit, this is way worse than she told us. Yep. She's been saying you overreacted to some innocent, friendly texts. But she literally told him the wedding was a prison sentence, and that her heart is with him, and they were making plans for after things settle down. I'm so sorry, this is really bad. I had no idea. Thanks. I appreciate you being honest. What about all the deposits, the venue and everything? That's where it got complicated. The venue required 60 days notice or we'd forfeit the $8,000 deposit. We were 42 days out. Photographer was past their 90-day cancellation window. Lost that $2,500. Caterer, florist, DJ, all similar situations. About $18,000 total in deposits and fees we'd lose. I'd paid roughly $11,000 of that. She'd paid $7,000. We'd split it roughly 60-40 since I make more. She called that afternoon from her sister's phone. We need to talk about the money, the vendors. What about them? I can't afford to lose $7,000. We need to postpone, not cancel. Work through this. There's nothing to work through. Wedding's off. I wasn't even cheating. We were just talking. You told him you wish you could be together. You made plans for a future with him. That's cheating. It was fantasy, venting. I would never actually do anything. Your messages say otherwise. You're being completely unreasonable. We can do counseling. Fix this. But I can't lose $7,000. Should have thought about that at 2 a.m. This is financial abuse. I actually laughed. Financial abuse is me not marrying someone who's in love with their ex? Try again. My lawyer says I can sue you for half the losses since you unilaterally canceled. Your lawyer should read the contracts. Most wedding vendors have infidelity clauses. Cheating is grounds for penalty-free cancellation by the non-cheating party. Long silence. You're lying. Read your contracts. I already did, specifically looked for it after I sent the cancellation emails. This is insane. What's insane is you expecting me to marry you after what you did. We could have worked it out. Which texts were misinterpreted? The ones where you miss him? The ones where you're planning your future together? Or the one where you called marrying me a prison sentence with LMAO at the end? She hung up. Her dad called that evening. This one I was dreading. Son, can we talk? Yeah. I saw the messages. What she did was wrong. I'm not defending it, but I'm asking you to think about the financial fallout here. She's going to be buried in debt from this. That's not my problem. I know, but listen. You paid more into this wedding. What if I reimbursed your losses? Made you whole financially? Could we work something out where everyone walks away clean? I don't want your money. Please, just consider it. I know you're not getting back together. I understand that, but let me help with the financial mess. She's my daughter. She screwed up badly, but I can't watch her drown over this. That got me. He wasn't making excuses, wasn't defending her, just being a dad. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. Thank you. About a week later, she showed up at my buddy's place. Don't know how she found me there. We need to talk. Really talk. No. You owe me that after 3 years. I owe you nothing. It was a stupid mistake. I got scared about commitment and reached out to someone familiar. It didn't mean anything. You told him your heart was with him. I was being dramatic. You know how I get emotional. Yeah, now I do. You get emotional and text your ex about leaving me for him. That is not what happened. Then show me your phone. Full conversation, everything. She held her phone tighter, didn't say anything. That exactly. Leave. When you're alone and miserable, remember you're the one who gave up. When you're explaining to your next boyfriend why your last engagement ended, remember you texted your ex that marrying me was a prison sentence. She left. Came back an hour later with her mom. My friend answered the door. Nope. He doesn't want to see you. Her mom pushed past him. We're not leaving until he explains himself. I came out. Both of you need to go. You destroyed my daughter's reputation. Everyone thinks she's a cheater. She is a cheater. Some texts don't make her a cheater. Actually, they do. Emotional affairs are still affairs. Nothing physical happened. You sure about that? I looked at my ex. What about that weekend you mentioned? The one you can't stop thinking about? Want to tell your mom about that? Her face went white. Her mom turned to her. What weekend? Nothing. We just ran into each other at a conference. Had dinner. When? I asked. She didn't answer. The Denver conference. 2 months ago, the one you went to alone, where the Wi-Fi was supposedly so bad we barely talked. Her mom's expression changed. Did something happen? No, we just talked. You're lying, I said. You told him you think about that weekend constantly, that he makes you feel alive. That wasn't just dinner. Tears started. We kissed. That's it. One kiss. Her mom looked like someone punched her. Finally, some truth. You physically cheated 2 months before our wedding. It was just a kiss. You're still lying, but honestly, I don't care anymore. Both of you, get out. Her mom was staring at her daughter. You told me nothing happened at that conference. Mom, it was just, you looked me in the eye and told me nothing happened. It didn't, not really. Get out of my friend's house, I said. Now, before I call the cops. They left. But her mom turned back at the door. You're making a huge mistake. She's a catch. If your husband was texting another woman the way your daughter texted her ex, would you call it nothing? She didn't answer. That night, the ex-Purple Heart guy found me on social media. Sent a message. Hey man, this is awkward but wanted to reach out. What happened with her name and me wasn't planned. We have real history. Sometimes feelings don't just die. She's torn up about hurting you, but she's confused about what she wants. Maybe better this happened before the wedding. Sorry you got caught in this. I stared at that message for a while, then replied, You're not sorry I got hurt. You're sorry you got caught. You were actively planning a future with an engaged woman. Don't pretend you're some innocent bystander. Lose my number. Blocked him immediately. Couple days later, long email from my ex. Pages of apologies and explanations. Buried in there was this gem. I've been seeing a therapist who thinks I have commitment issues from my parents' divorce. I self-sabotage when I get scared. This wasn't about you not being enough. I'm broken. But I'm getting help. If you give me time to fix myself, we could try again. I deleted it without responding. Her dad called again. Following up on our conversation, I'm offering $15,000. Covers your losses plus some extra. In return, you don't pursue any legal action and we all move on quietly. Legal action for what? Some vendors are asking about the cancellation reason. If infidelity gets invoked, could affect her ability to book venues in the future. Not my problem. I'm asking as a favor, please. Take the money, let this go quietly. I thought about it. $10,000. Not as a settlement, as reimbursement for actual losses. I'll sign something saying we've settled the financial stuff, but I'm not lying to vendors. They ask why we canceled, I'm telling the truth. That's fair. I'll have something drawn up. Few weeks later, she tried another approach. Sent mutual friends to talk to me. Showed up at places I'd be. Each time I shut it down. Final attempt came about a month ago. Handwritten letter. Long, emotional, basic message. She'd ended things with her ex, was in therapy, had done the work, wanted another chance. I tossed it. Her sister called. Did you get her letter? Yeah. And? Not interested. She's really changed. This broke her. She's worked on herself. Good. She should keep working on herself. With someone else. You won't even consider it? Never. I'll never trust her again. Every late night text, every work trip, every time she's distant, I'd wonder. That's not a relationship. So 3 years mean nothing? 3 years mean nothing compared to a lifetime of paranoia. It wasn't one mistake. It was months of texting. An emotional affair, a physical affair, because I guarantee it was more than just a kiss. It was lying repeatedly. Planning a future with someone else while planning a wedding with me. That's not one mistake. She's paying for it. Lost most of her friends. Her reputation is destroyed. She can't even mention the wedding without people judging. Natural consequences. You sound cold. I'm not cold. I'm just done being manipulated. Fair enough. Last I heard she moved out of state. Fresh start somewhere. Purple Heart guy apparently ghosted her once things got real. Shocker? Me? I'm alright. Not great, but alright. Therapy is helping with trust issues. Dating feels weird now. Keep looking for red flags everywhere. Sold the engagement ring at a loss. Used that money for a solo trip. Cleared my head. Canceled the apartment lease we'd signed together. Stayed in my smaller place. Cheaper. Simpler. Ran into her mom at the grocery store a couple weeks back. We made eye contact. She looked like she wanted to say something, then just nodded and walked away. My parents still check in. My mom admitted after everything that she never really liked my ex. Said something always felt off. but she couldn't pinpoint it. Moms know, man. My buddy who let me crash at his place has been solid, drags me out when I get too in my head, reminds me that finding out before the wedding was lucky. He's right. Imagine if I'd found out after we were married. Divorce lawyers, splitting assets, potentially alimony. This way I lost some deposits but kept my freedom. Some people think I overreacted, that I should have tried counseling, that everyone makes mistakes. Those people didn't see her texting another man in my bed at 2 a.m., calling our wedding a prison sentence. The wedding would have been last weekend, actually. I spent it watching the game with friends. Didn't think about what could have been. That's progress. Looking back, the signs were probably there. I was just too in love to see them. Won't make that mistake again. To anyone reading this in a similar spot, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Better to walk away before the wedding than after. And if you catch them, document everything. Don't let them rewrite history. I'm doing okay. One day at a time. No regrets about my decision. My only regret is not seeing it sooner. But hey, at least I saw it before I said I do. That's worth something.